Alright, so today's video day. So the second video that I'm making, and I want to talk quickly about fintech corporations. So let's pull up the actual definition. But basically, you have a lot of companies these days who provide banking services, and there's no way to contact people sometimes. There's no, like, what a traditional bank. There's no way to go inside the branch and speak to somebody. Let me grab a water real quick. Wow. Need some water. I highly recommend. Yeah, like how I did that, right? Just scoot it on over. Highly recommend if you have a home office like I do. You have a microwave, little refrigerator. You'd be surprised. It comes in handy. And because I do a lot of remote work in here, I have to have the things that I need. So, just FYI, if you have a home office, get a fridge and a microwave. Save you a lot of time and wonders. Okay. So, back to fintechs. So if something happens to your money, right? What are you going to do? Because there's no bank that you can walk into. There's no actual customer service phone number. And a lot of times we know that a lot of these customer service agents are doing what? They're working remotely. Because I've done that work. And there's only a certain amount of answers to your questions that they are able to give you. So what is a fintech company? So you have fintech companies, fintech banks, fintech unicorns, platforms. So let's see. According to Investopedia, fintech technology, its uses, impact on life, new tech that seeks to improve and automate the delivery and use of financial services. So if you've heard of Vero, you've heard of Chime, you've heard of PayPal, you've heard of a variety of things. These are fintech companies. So I go a bit into it, and also dealing with investments. So the reason why I always talk about why I love Charles Schwab and Fidelity is because guess what? They have branches in my area. If anything goes wrong, I can walk into one of their locations and speak to someone. They have customer service. They're reputable. Not to say that they can't do things unscrupulous to people. However, I put more trust in well-established companies than a lot of these companies, to where, as I mentioned, you can't get a hold of customer service. So I have a lot of accounts, and I have a number of different types of accounts. And so I do have Chime. I do have PayPal. I have a lot. What, there's Venmo, there's Zelle, the whole fucking nine, right? Cash App's actually owned by Square. You know, remember when the Square readers came out and all that good stuff. So fintech funding is on the rise, but regulatory problems exist. Absolutely. I don't know if you guys have ever had an issue of having an unauthorized charge. This actually happened with PayPal with me a few years ago, where somehow, you know, I ordered something, and the next thing I know, I'm getting all these charges on my account. A lot of times they don't have data encryption with proper VPN. And let's see. Example of fintech application includes robo-advisors, payment apps, peer-to-peer, lending apps, investment apps, crypto apps, a variety of things. I had actually put my money into crypto, and I'm going to consider pulling it back out. I have Acorns and I have Stash as well. So I first like them because they're easy apps to use. Stash will let you pick your investments. Acorns doesn't. And one of the things that I have found with Acorns, I thought that, you know, I'm doing a good job putting the recurring amount, small dollar amount saving, right? I have not really seen much of a return. I had actually cut off the recurring savings. They have something in place to where even though it's turned off, they're still debiting my bank account. And a lot of other people doing my research have said the same thing. And so I'm like, that's interesting. Then I've heard people tell me they can't get access to their money, that they will be locked out of their account. They can't get a hold of anyone. Or that they try to make a withdrawal, they never get their money. A variety of things. So then I start researching into how the customer is responding on Better Business Bureau, Trustpilot, a number of places. And it's just an automated, scripted thing. It's not even properly written, which is like, really? Who's writing these? And it's just scripted. So these consumers are not lying. And I know from my own experience, something's not right. So when I checked my account and saw, first of all, what they would do, they have too much tracking to your bank account when you're linking your account, because they can seal your transactions. So they would automatically on my payday said, okay, we're resuming, without asking me, is this something that I want to resume reoccurring transfers? That's up to me to decide. And then they'll tell you if you don't want to do it, to cut it off. So I cut it off. They're still fucking doing it. In fact, they just did it to me 3 times yesterday when I decided to make a withdrawal. I'm getting my money out of there, and no. I just, from seeing how the company is set up. So, let's see. Fintech in practice. So, companies like Affirm seeks to cut credit card companies out of the online shopping process by offering a way for consumers to secure immediate short-term loans. I've seen that, the paying for things of that nature. Microloans. So Chime has this thing called Spot Me, where based off the amount of your direct deposits, they will actually spot you like $20, $40, something different. They won't charge you overdraft. So on one hand, it sounds good because you're not being charged overdraft fees. There's a limit you can't go over, because those overdraft fees can be very excessive with a lot of companies. My just concern is that they may or may not be accessible, because where's Chime located? Let's look that up. Chime headquarters. Let's see. And that's why it's very important to do your research before investing with the company. Chime Fintech, just headquarters. San Francisco. I actually had an issue with something that I had ordered, and I filed a dispute because I never got the item. And then they told me it's going to take 90 days for me to get my money back. That is unacceptable. You better go bank with Chase, Bank of America, an actual bank. They did not take 90 days to get you back your money. It does not take 90 days to investigate what occurred. 30 days to me should be the most amount of time. And then most banks will give you what they call a provisional credit. A lot of these fintech companies, even with NetSpend and MetaBank and things like that, they're not doing that. Chime was founded in 2012. So let's just see Chime complaints. And it didn't take 90 days. It only took about maybe 40 days for me to get my money back. So it's a good thing that it was not a big amount of money. Is Chime being investigated? Wow. These are things that you need to look up and pay attention to. From October last year to early November, they received 342 complaints about Chime. They're currently investigating Chime's dispute resolution practices. This is in 2002. So this is a prime example. It happened to me. Yeah. Customers' complaints about fintech company Chime continue. Wow. How do I file a complaint against Chime? Very important. So I'm just looking at why are Chime accounts are being closed, searching for evidence of fraud. So a company can basically just say that something is fraud and close your account. But what if it's not fraud? Then how are you going to get your money back? Because that's something that a lot of companies are saying. It's just ironic to me to see all these searches. Wow. Alrighty, so let's look at Acorns. Because I really don't like how they keep going into my account and pulling money, even though it's off. They're recurring. And then when I hear certain celebrities who we all know that they're puppets in shows, like Ashton Kutcher, promoting Acorns and promoting a lot of stuff. They get money from it. So something must be fucked up with it. Wow. Just amazed. So there's NerdWallet, there's Consumer Affairs, there's Trustpilot, there's the Better Business Bureau. There's a variety of places. Forbes. Okay. So they actually did a review of them this year. 5 reasons why you shouldn't use the Acorn investing app. Sounds good to me. Let's take a look. There's Bankrate. There's a number of different websites that you can go to get information. And it's up to you to use your gift of discernment to see what is going to work for you. So I'm just scrolling this through really quickly to see. Number 1, the standard Acorns account isn't appropriate for long-term investing. They're taxable brokerage accounts. If you're doing a long-term goal, there are better suited account types, which I agreed with. The 529, the Roth IRA. The standard Acorns account isn't appropriate for short-term investing. Okay. If you're going to need, and they're saying if you're going to need access to your money in the next 5 years, they recommend you invest in a high-interest savings account instead, which I highly recommend, absolutely, because that to me seems to be, or even looking at CDs or other short-term, options that you can to save money. The subscription fee is killing your returns. So yeah, they have a subscription fee. Isn't the best choice for medium-term investing. False sense of accomplishing your goals just for fun. I have to agree, but I want to see what is the part about the recurring in payments, because that is definitely happening to me, and they should not be doing that. How do I get Acorns to stop charging me? Close your account. They also offer checking, and I actually got their checking, but I really don't see how much value there is. Chime even offers credit cards now. Look it up. So, okay, Trustpilot, one of my favorite places to go. Let's see. Do not use. This was 5 days ago. Will not stop fraud. I never signed up for Acorns and was charged over $200 by them. I informed my bank and was advised to contact them. Contacted them, sent them the information as a fraudulent account. Yeah, remember, I think it was Bank of America who had issues with fraudulent accounts. Or it could have been Wells Fargo. Double check. 3rd day in a row, my account was fraudulently charged. They will not stop unless they have information, even if they know it's fraudulent. I've not had any problems with the account like some of the bad reviews. Okay, you get that sometime. A lot of times these reviews, these positive reviews, where they're trying to discredit everybody else, they're paid for. Because why do you feel the need to discredit other people and their experience? Speak about your own fucking experience. Do not trust these clowns. I signed up for a favor. I can see multiple deductions in my checking account, but I cannot log in. My account was flagged for some week, and I've spent a week in email cycles sending report the same sensitive personal information over and over again. Support is terrible. Do not trust these clowns with access to your bank. So you know that things like Plaid, they help platforms connect to your account. And even that's why I'm careful with when I work for different companies doing direct deposits. I have different accounts for different reasons, but I specifically have accounts to where I've received direct deposits from different clients, just to minimize the level of access that banks have. And obviously, when you work for any job, like even a regular job, what do you have to fill out direct deposit form? It has your personal banking information. So yes, your information can be stolen, can be used. And this is May 2023, so this is very recent, and I'm having the same issue. Starting out liking this platform. Lately, they have drafted from my accounts immediately and do not post the money to your account too well beyond the projected date. They play the float game, which may be understandable, but the money sits in limbo well past the projected application date. So it looks like they're using that money in limbo for a reason. I got scammed out of $121. And literally a minute after it happened, I called Acorns to report it. They said they would cancel the transaction immediately and the funds would be returned to my account. My dispute and claim got denied and I still have not received my money back. So these are very important things to look out, because all these people are not lying. And I know that they're not lying. Because some of what they're saying has happened to me. They don't honor the referral rewards program. Yeah, that's why I don't do the whole, here's my referral code and stuff. Well-planned scam. I've had the new Acorns app with a linked bank account from Chase. My zero activity account is now disabled, and Acorns has asked for a bank statement, unexpired federal ID to be emailed to customer service. I had that issue with Stash, and I'm like, why should I be giving up all this personal information through an electronic method that can easily be hacked? Negative stars. They close your account and give you no access to your information, previous statements, anything. Then I was locked out of the app. I believe that happens. I definitely believe that. I've seen that, not with this particular company, but with companies before. In fact, happened with me with Stash. I got locked out of my account, and that's part of what they said that they wanted me to do, which I need to check to make sure. I actually pulled my money out of that app, but to make sure that there was nothing else left over. Trying to close my account. So my goal, I've already transferred all my money out of that account. As soon as it hits my account, I'm deactivating that account. And most banking things, if you connect an account, they have a way for you to disconnect on their end. So even if a company won't disconnect on their end, there is usually a way that your bank, if you bank with a reputable bank, will allow you to disconnect from them. My investments with Acorn haven't been successful as my funds currently tied up in their system. Now, one of the things that I noticed about them, they do not allow you to kind of pick and choose your investments. So I'm not a fan of that. I believe you should have the freedom and the flexibility to do it as you see fit. So there's many more fintech companies out there, and I'm definitely going to be doing a little bit more research as to the entire industry, as it impacts me on a personal level, my family, my businesses, and yeah. So it's good to know these things and to see. Now, so far, despite the dispute process taking so long with Chime, I haven't had any issues with them. And I only have these secondary banks because I travel a lot. And so, for example, one of my banks is a New York only bank. A couple of my banks are only East Coast banks. And I even have back on the West Coast, some West Coast banks. So I do a lot of different type of transactions. And so having access to my money, and I like credit unions as well. But sometimes you might be, when I travel, I use these little fintech cards, and I'll tell you why. One, they're easily to reload. Now, you do pay a fee when you have to reload them, but say I'm staying at a hotel, right? And some of them might charge a little bit more. Most of them don't do that as much as they used to, but it used to be, you know, some places they would hold, like for gas or something. If you charge it, they'll charge a little bit more to make sure you can cover it. Say I'm staying at a hotel for 3 days. I'm not giving you my debit card that's associated to any of my major accounts that I use for operating, for my household bills, for anything. I'm not giving you any access to money that I don't want you to have access to. I transfer money into my travel accounts, just like when I worked in the government, and I learned how to do that. To pay for people's travel, for their hotel, for their honorarium, their per diem, the whole nine, like a business does. So I have separate accounts for different reasons. I put that money into Chime or PayPal, wherever the case may be, and I use that because that way you do not have access to my money. I had a bad experience one time with Lowe's Hollywood Hotel, of all places, like 10 years ago. Paid a good amount to stay there, booked the suite, and paid for everything. So why am I getting in the middle of the night random $100, $200, $300 charges? Good thing I pay attention to everything. And they could not tell me why. Something's not right here. So they told me, don't worry, it'll drop off. Well, it shouldn't be happening. And you're holding up my money, which you don't have a right to do because everything's paid for. So nothing should have been occurring. Literally 30 days later, I checked back. There was still a transaction holding out for $200. They actually processed it through. How the fuck did you process this through? Called another hotel doing fraud. They had allowed somebody apparently to check in to the hotel using my credit card, but they didn't have my credit card. They just told them to charge credit card on file, and they actually used an ID that had my name. So that person, I got an alert because I actually had gotten an alert from the hotel that somebody my reservation I checked in. What do you mean? I didn't even make this fucking reservation. I stayed with them a lot, so I thought maybe they were just mixed up. I promptly called the police, sent the police to that hotel, and they arrested that individual for using a stolen ID, because I reported my ID stolen many years ago, for impersonating me. I'm a businesswoman. I travel a lot. Most hotels, they know me because I stay there a lot. And I usually have a credit card on file. They can just charge my card on file. But I always like to prepay for my stay. So even prior to checkout, everything's already paid for. And I don't know who this person was, how they were able to use my identity, but they did. And then it definitely had to been somebody that knew me. Now, obviously, the police would not give me the information as to who the person was, because I'd love to have a conversation. What the fuck are you doing using my information? But these scammers do this to a lot of people. And then particularly, you hear about it all the time, of people just pretending to be people. And it just so happened that that hotel got in a lot of serious trouble, because even though they had the ID, they still, when they processed the card, like to just charge the card on file, they should have never done that. And they knew me. They knew that I didn't live in Minnesota. And this is where the person that apparently had gotten an ID in my name was from. As long as they're prosecuted. But it's fucked up that this happens. So that's why I make these videos, to tell people how to be cautious with doing business with a lot of these apps, a lot of these online banks where you can't get access to someone. It's ridiculous. And if anything, if I need to add more money or I need more money, I can transfer to them. Now, say with PayPal, they are definitely more better because they've been around, I think, one of the longest out of all these fintech companies, but they have a better dispute system in progress. They've gotten better over the years with detecting fraud, things of that nature. But still, I don't use them as my 100%. I use them for a variety of reasons. Do your research when you are picking out who you're going to do business with. You want to look at what these issues are so you don't have them happen to you. And just, be cautious with having so many people, so many apps having access to your banking information. Absolutely. So, have a great day. And I hope that this information is valuable to you, because I know that the information that I'm compiling is valuable to me, which is why I share that. And I think that's the beauty of doing research, is that you're able to look at different sources and you cite your sources, and then you make a decision based off, okay, I've looked at this, I've looked at that, here's the best course of action. I highly recommend that if you have any investments or you want to invest, that you sit down with an advisor. So I'm getting ready to check on my crypto. I haven't touched it. I just I didn't put a lot of money, put like maybe $200. I'm not putting a lot of money to something that's highly speculative. Highly speculative. I said the first time. Very volatile. There's not much oversight. There's starting to become oversight in that, and a lot of banks, and even the big guys like Charles Schwab, BlackRock, Fidelity, all them, they're now getting into investing, which means the government is now getting into crypto. So curious to see how that plays out. But I don't know. I just don't know how. Some people say they've made millions of dollars with Bitcoin. They made all this money. I'm not saying that they haven't, but I just wonder, is that the reality for a lot of people? And the person actually gave me some of the advice about crypto. They had showed me like screenshots of where they made X amount, so that's why I was kind of more willing. But I'm gonna look it out and check out for myself to see if I'm getting any returns. My stocks are doing well. My stocks are actually, most of them are performing upwards. So that has been working out for me. But I have a lot to do. So have a good day.